Hi everybody, I'm Kathryn Brooks. I'm the CEO of She's Her Own CEO, and we're going to be talking to a special guest today and just need to add him. So we'll just sit tight here a second. Thanks. So if anybody's in the South, hopefully your Memorial Day weekend was a little less rainy than ours was here. We had the subtropical storm Alberto come through, so starting to clear up now, but it's been an interesting holiday weekend. We'll just give this a second here. There's Greg. Hey, Greg.
Hey, Kathryn.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
I am doing well. Can't complain.
Good. Well, it's a little after 2:30, so let's jump in. I want to respect your time, but thank you so much for joining us today on She's Her Own CEO.
No problem.
Yeah. So I was just filling in a few people that are on. The weather's been terrible here. So Memorial Day weekend was pretty much a washout with a subtropical storm Alberto coming through, but it's starting to clear up a little bit here. So how was it in Chattanooga for you? Are you traveling?
It's good today. It's good today right now, but we're expecting storms to come in later this afternoon. So that is potentially a problem. So we'll see what happens.
Right. So we got to integrate a little bit of news in here. So, because this is your name of the game here. But let's just go ahead and get started, because I know you only have 30 minutes or so. But anyway, this interview is basically a part of my interview series with professional, successful people that I've either personally met or I've reached out to. And just about myself, I come from the corporate world. I have over 10 years experience in the Fortune 100, and now I'm running She's Her Own CEO, which is a brand and a lifestyle for modern ladies who lead, provide, and create in their world. So the emphasis here is really just talking about success. What are the practical steps and motivational techniques we can all use, regardless of our backgrounds, of our profession, of our educational merits. We can all be successful in our own way, right? So I'm bringing Greg Funderburg on, and I had the pleasure of meeting Greg about 2 months ago, and he graciously accepted my pitch and request to appear on Good Morning Chattanooga, where he is the host and the midday anchor. So he has a varied background in education. He plays a variety of roles, which I'll let him tell you about. But I just really have enjoyed working with Greg. He's an outstanding host, and just thought he would bring a ton of value to this audience. So, Greg, you want to jump in with what makes you you?
Sure. I've been here in Chattanooga for 5 years. So I anchor the morning show, as you said, and I anchor the noon show Monday through Friday. So it's a fun job. I love what I do. Actually, it's crazy that I got into television news years ago when I was a kid in Alabama. I'm from a small town, Sylacauga, Alabama. It's near Birmingham. It's about 30 minutes south of Birmingham. And I wanted to be a mortician because that's what I wanted to do with my life. And I remember as a kid, I was so fascinated with funerals and the thought of, I don't know where that came from. But anyway, I was so fascinated with wanting to be a funeral director. But then I heard a main anchor speak in my hometown about her career in television news. And crazy story, she was from my home county, and she worked at a TV station in Birmingham for, I think, 19 years and ended up as a main anchor. But she was so inspiring in her speech, invited me to come to the station. I went to the station. I was so inspired by what she had to say. So I remember going back to my high school and I said, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do with my career, my life. And we were going around the classroom in the 11th grade talking about what we wanted to be when we grew up. And I said, I want to be a news anchor reporter. And I remember my teacher telling me that TV news may not be the career for me. Maybe I should choose a different career. So I did not allow her words to make me want to go in a different direction. Instead, I used her words as ammunition to succeed. And I pushed forward. And 12 years later, since I've graduated college, I am here. I'm living my dream. And I'm just a living witness. I tell people all the time, it doesn't matter where you come from, who your parents are. It all starts with you. And you have to figure out what you want to do with your life. And a lot of people don't realize, they talk about they want power, they want prestige, they want money. You have the power to determine how you live your life. And so as long as you work hard, as my mom and dad would always say, you can make your dreams come true.
Now, as you were coming out of high school, going into college, did you waver in your career choice? Did you ever second guess yourself in TV news as a career?
You know, I never did. When I realized in the 11th grade I wanted to be a TV news anchor reporter, I interned at a small TV station in my hometown of Sylacauga, Alabama. So I remember I went to a local station. I asked the guy there, Jimmy Dale Abrams, if I could come in and do a job shadowing experience when I was in high school, my 12th grade year. He said yes. And as a 12th grader, I would get up to go to the local Sylacauga hometown news. And I remember I would be there at 5 o'clock in the morning. I would read Alabama news, and I would also do interviews from 5:30 until 7. And then I would go home, change clothes, be at school by 8 o'clock. I was in high school then. So I did this internship my last semester in high school and went on to college. I never looked back. I knew it was going to take hard work, and you know, a lot of times people, they want to give up on their dreams, but I was so determined, and because my parents had always encouraged me, I just never looked back.
Right. And I know we'll jump ahead and talk about your personal brand and kind of how you talk about yourself on social media, but I just wanted to tag on to that because just in the last week, I have seen you personally reach out, mentor, give speeches, all on the topics that you just mentioned. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, there are people, in all honesty, that kind of talk the talk about giving back. You know, it's a great check the box activity, basically, mm-hmm. but you live it. I mean, I've heard those words come out of your mouth, you know, talking about your career aspirations and how you got into TV news. So, you know, that's admirable.
You know, it's a blessing to be able to go to work every single day and do exactly what I dreamed about doing. And there have been days in my career in the 12 years I've been doing this that I wanted to say, you know what, I think I want to do something else, but I still have that urge to continue to keep going. And I think about, you know, my grandmother years ago, she used to clean houses. Both of my grandmothers did. They cleaned houses for a living, and they did other things as life progressed. But they ended up to raise amazing children. And my mom is a nurse. My dad has his own business back home in Alabama. And who would have ever thought they would get married in 1982, have me in 1984, and this would happen. It's a true testament that anything can happen for anyone. And, you know, a lot of times we don't understand how things are going to happen. And I remember when I was in my college days and I was almost about to graduate college, and mentors telling me that, you know, it may be hard. It may be a year. It may be 6 months before you get a job in TV news, but, you know, it'll happen. You just got to keep working hard. Crazy story. I wanted, when I was in college, my last semester, I really wanted this job in Columbus, Georgia. I have a prophetic side of me. So I wanted this job, and the job closed, and it wasn't open anymore. They didn't have another opening. So I graduated college, and then the week before graduation, actually, they posted another reporting job in Columbus, Georgia. Crazy story. My resume tape wasn't done. I worked hard in like 4 weeks to get my resume tape done and all this stuff. Sent it off to the station in Columbus, Georgia. Got a call back 2 days later. A week later, I was there interviewing for the job on May 31st, 2006. And then less than a week later, on June 6, 2006, I got a call from the news director offering me a job. So I tell people, you just got to work really hard and don't give up on your dream. My dream has been TV news. And I tell people all the time, it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter if you're 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, 60 years old. It's never too late to go towards your dream.
That's amazing. Is there anything about being in the South, being in Birmingham, being around Atlanta, being, around major cities in the South that has helped you? Or do you feel like any of that played into your trajectory in your career?
I'm going to be honest with you. It was all about networking.
Yeah.
I met some amazing people in my internships, and they really helped me to get to this point. And it's all about networking and finding people who will mentor you, give you advice, and get you to where you need to be. I tell a lot of kids when they're interning at our TV station here in Chattanooga, or even like people that reach out to me on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, it's not about what you know. In the long run, it's about who you know, and you have to know people, and you meet people and network all the time. And that is so crucial. And that's one of the greatest things that has really helped me in my career.
Do you feel like talking about your basket of mentors, whether they were professors or people in the industry, do you feel like there was a common thread among those mentors, or do you feel like each one is kind of like a member of your board of directors?
That's a good way to put it. I've never thought about it that way, but I do think it's a board of directors for your team. It's Team Greg or Team Kathryn. You find your team of how many ever people, if it's 5 people, 6 people, 12 people, but find those team of people who are going to be on your team and help push you, motivate you to be where you need to be.
I know for myself, working in the corporate world, I had mentors that were more in the finance arena, and they, mentoring me, down that finance career track. And then I had mentors that were, kind of in the entrepreneurial space. I've had, my mom has been a mentor to me. So, it just depends. And I think each person that is willing to invest in you has value to add. And I just personally think it's important to respect each of them. And I'm sure you're getting that feedback from all the people you're mentoring right now.
Yes, all the time.
So that's amazing. Yeah, I saw a picture I think you had posted today where you had a intern coming in and kind of giving her first, shot sitting at the news anchor desk, and just, she'll remember that, I'm sure, forever.
We have so many interns that come in every summer, so I'm always big about getting in and getting in different places and figuring out what you want to do, if it's producing or reporting or editing, whatever is your passion, going towards your passion and making it happen.
Right. So let's talk about kind of your motivational perspectives. Beyond just, you share great quotes and emojis and memes and such on social media, which are hysterical, and they always make me smile every day. But beyond that, what are some of your personal perspectives? Is it religion or spirituality, or kind of what motivates you, and how do you share that with others?
I tell people all the time that my foundation of my growing up in Alabama is my faith in God, and that has been the driving force to get me to where I am today. And I tell people all the time, I've had people tell me, well, I don't believe in God or whatever. A lot of people, I think people should be able to believe in whatever they want to believe in. But I will tell you this story. Once when I was working in South Carolina, I lived my life the way I live my life, a Christian person, helping people, just trying to be a good, caring person. And I remember a reporter, when I was in Greenville, South Carolina, she told me she had gone through a tough time, and she was Catholic, and she had prayed, and she said she hadn't gone to mass in a number of years, and she went through a tough time. And she said, she came to me later and she says, Greg, just by the way you carry yourself, it made me want to go and pray for the first time in years. And I was just like, I said, I was shocked. But the important message from that is, she said she was going through a tough time, and she said she just saw how I was always so helpful and kind and so motivating. She wanted to pray, and she felt like after she got back on her spiritual journey, it helped to turn her situation around. So you never know who you're inspiring. You never know who you are motivating just by giving them a smile. Sometimes people are having a bad day. I've been in that situation where I've been out at a store in my life, and you may be having a bad day and you walk into a grocery store and someone just simply smiles and says hello. And it's just that one little act will brighten up someone's day.
So are you known, at WTVC, are you the brightest, cheeriest person in every meeting?
I'm cheery all the time.
Yeah.
Wherever I am, it doesn't matter if I'm at home or church or wherever. I'm always smiling. I'm happy. It's just a blessing just to be alive. And I tell people all the time, a lot of times we don't have everything we want. And I was just telling a girl that I've been mentoring earlier today when she called me after work. She was talking about some things, but I just always tell people everything may not be perfect in what you want it to be at the moment. But I'm a strong believer that if you have faith and you believe things are going to happen and you work hard, it will happen in due time. It may not happen when you want it to happen, but it will happen.
Is there any reading or podcasts or inspirational speakers or anything that you personally use to nourish yourself so that you can give back to others? Like, how do you keep yourself energized?
There are a couple of people that I really look at on social media. Devon Franklin, he's a pastor and he's also an executive in Hollywood. And he married Megan Good a couple years ago. He's a really good, inspiring person. So follow him on Twitter, Facebook, all that kind of good stuff. I really like his stuff. Also, my biggest inspiration, Robin Roberts at Good Morning America. She's always so inspiring. And just to hear her videos or whatever she's posting on social media is just so uplifting. I've had the pleasure of meeting her a couple different times. And every time I meet her, it's like she focuses on you like you're the only person in the room. And she is simply amazing. And I just tell people all the time, I just strive to be a person that's going to be loving and caring. But when I see certain people like Robin Roberts and other people in their careers, it gives me so much hope. And then I also have a couple pastors that I follow online. TD Jakes, of course, in Texas, a big inspiration. And I follow a lot of the things that he talks about and the inspirational messages that he posts on social media. So it's always good to get those messages from different people.
That's all great. So many notes to be taken there. We have to go back through this video and write all those recommendations down. You had told me one thing in person around a question you often get: how do I become a news anchor? I just want to jump in. How do I do that? And your response, I thought, was a really good one. So is that something you could share here?
Yes. What did I say? I can't remember.
Oh, it was talking about, kind of going through the reporting, taking your trajectory through your career, getting that firm foundation before, you get to sit behind a news desk and you get that question all the time. So
I always tell people, if you want to be, a lot of times, especially college kids, they're always talking about, I want to be an anchor. I want to be this. I want to sit behind the desk like Savannah Guthrie on the Today Show, Robin Roberts on Good Morning America. A lot of people don't realize that these people had careers before they got to that point. So it is so important, so vital that you get the fundamental basic skills as a reporter, learning how to shoot your own stuff, edit your own stuff, write your own stuff, and go out and do your own stories, because all of those basic skills will help you in the long run when you get to that point where you're at the anchor desk. And when some big breaking news story happens, you will be able to handle that pressure on the desk because you've been out in the field as a reporter.
And you have that frame of reference to be able to draw upon. It's not, reading a prompter all the time. It's actually, going within your own experiences and kind of knowing how things play out and how do you apply that to the situation that's live.
Exactly. And then also when you're reporting, you learn things that you find out things that you probably can't talk about on television yet because it's not confirmed or it's just speculation, and you don't want to give out information that's incorrect because you're talking to a lot of people on television or on social media. So those basic skills will help you when you get to the point, because when you're sitting on the desk as an anchor, you don't have a teleprompter when there's major breaking news. You're just talking and people are giving you notes or talking to you in your earpiece, and you're just having to go with it.
Do you, this question just came to me, as far as like multitasking goes, when you've got someone talking in your ear, you're drawing from your own experiences, you have some papers in front, how, for someone that maybe isn't as good as processing large amounts of information and summarizing it, what recommendations would you have for someone like that to kind of build that skill?
I always tell people the more you do it, the better you will get at it. And even to this day, like there are moments where we are told something in our ear and we're like, what did you say? Or most
Yeah.
times the producers will say it twice, but it comes with time. And I tell people all the time, a lot of people, they'll say, well, maybe my voice is not where I want it to be, especially young journalists. And I
Right.
give people the example, like if you go back and look at Oprah, when she started her show, back in 1984 when it was AM Chicago, to the point when 1986 when she debuted the Oprah Winfrey Show nationally. And then you
Right.
look in the 90s to the early 2000s to when she ended her show in 2011, you will notice over 25 years her voice developed and changed. And so it's always a process and it will happen. The thing about it is you got to keep going in there and you got to keep doing it. And it's like, swimming. You may get in the water and you can't swim, but the more you try and the more you practice, the better you're
Right.
going to get at it.
Right. Right. Is there anything you want to talk about on your personal motivation, your website, kind of how you inspire people through your news reporting, through giving back, reading to children, but more on the Greg side? How does that
Well,
equation play for you, and how does that fit into your overall
Well, I will
strategy?
tell you that I'm a living witness. I've been on this whole fitness journey for a couple of years now, and a couple of years ago I was doing so well and I was exceptional. I was just on a roll, and then all of a sudden I had life happen, something gets in the way and you get off track. And so now I'm in that process of getting myself back on track. And
Mm.
so I tell people all the time that it's something that's something that's important for me, is health and fitness, because on my on both of my families, excuse me, in both of my families back home in Alabama, my mom's side of the family has a history of heart disease and hypertension. My dad's family has a history of diabetes. So I feel like now at 33 years old, I need to start making those healthier choices to change my life so I can be able to live a healthier life as I go on in my life. So now I'm having to go back and get myself back focused on the whole fitness and health thing again. And it's just like anybody in life. And that's one thing that all Americans talk about every year. When January 1 rolls around, we're all talking about fitness and health. I want to get in shape. I want to do this. And, one thing about it is it's an everyday struggle for everyone in America.
Yeah.
You just have to stay with it. And a lot of people, they look at it as a diet. And I tell people it's not a diet. You have to look at it as this is a lifestyle change that you're going to make, and you're going to have to stay focused with it to get to that ultimate goal. And, Oprah is a prime example. She has gone up and down, up and down, up and down her whole career. And even recently with her recent campaign with her on Weight Watchers, it shows that she's human. She's just like everybody else. She will lose, she'll gain, she'll lose and gain. But the great thing is she's still the same person, and she's loving and caring, and she's still motivating other people along that way, along the journey.
Right. Right. So where do you go next, Greg?
Where do I go next?
Yeah, what is your next career adventure, exploration, personal journey,
Well,
motivational?
right now, I am just, for so many years, 12 years in TV news, I've always focused on where am I going to go next and what I'm
Yeah.
going to do next. And now I have changed my focus over the past like 5 or 6 years and just try to live in the present,
Yeah.
because I'm so blessed to be in a great station, to be on a great group of people on the morning show. And the other part about it is I am walking into a studio every single morning, and this is my dream, and this is what I've wanted to do. And a couple years ago in 2015, my beloved grandmother, she came to the studio for the first time when I was here in Chattanooga, and she watched the show in July 2015. A couple months later, she got really sick. She was 86 years old, and then she passed away at 86 in December, 2 weeks before Christmas, a couple days before her 87th birthday. But I share that story because my grandmother watched me grow up from this little kid who used to want to be a funeral director, and said when he was in high school he wanted to be a news anchor reporter, and to make this dream come true. And she got a chance to see me in a live studio
Right.
just months before she passed away. And it's just I just try to live in the present and enjoy the moment, because every day that I walk into that building, I think about those childhood dreams. I think about the people who have those same dreams. I think about the people who came before me, who didn't have those opportunities. And I feel like I'm being able to represent so many different people. And when I go there every single day, I think about both of my grandparents, both of my families, and the struggles that other people in my family have gone through over the years. And I'm just so blessed to be living my dream and living my goal. And so I'm just currently living in the present. And, you know, when God says it's time to do something else, then I will be obedient and listen to what he has to say, and make that transition. But in the present, I'm loving what I do. Love mornings. I can't believe I love getting up at 2:30 in the morning. But I would take an 8 o'clock class in college over a 3 o'clock class, and that's a true story.
That's amazing right there. And I know you and I have shared some very early morning communications, and it's amazing how you can look that great, be on your game every single morning that early, and drive to work, mm-hmm. and everything else that, you know, goes on behind the scenes that people don't see. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think a lot of people, you know, that turn on the TV don't really understand what it takes, how hard the team works, how fast they turn things around. It's amazing. It really is.
And a lot of people don't realize this is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week thing. And so basically, it doesn't stop. So producers come in for the morning show at 11 o'clock at night or 11:30 when the 11 o'clock show is on at night. And those producers are working through the night with editors to put together the morning show. Yeah. Then all of the talent, the reporters, the anchors are coming in between 3:30 and 4. And we're looking over the show, and at 4:30, we're on the air from 4:30 until 9. And so it's a never-ending journey. And once we go off the air, there are other people that are working the day shift. They're coming in. And the greatest part about this job, Kathryn, is that it's not about just, for me, just reading the news, but every single day you get to really make an impact in the community. And I really go out into the community a lot. I read to kids. I speak at schools and churches and civic organizations. I feel that part is so important because even though, yes, I'm on television and I deliver the news every morning, but being a part of this community is so important to me. And so that's why I love to go out in the community and meet the people, embrace the people, hug the people. A lot of people are shocked when I come, because I met this lady a couple of months ago and she said, "Can I hug you?" And I said, "Sure, I'm a big hugger." So I'm just that Southern guy that is just blessed to be doing what I love. And I get to meet people, and I just enjoy meeting them all the time.
What's the number one question you get from, you know, besides coming up and wanting to give you a hug or, you know, greet you? What's kind of that number one question you get from people that feel like they know you?
Oh, yes, I get that question. What time do you get up? And then you tell them between 2:30 and 2:45, and they're like, "Oh my God, how do you get up that early?" And you know, and to be honest with you, it's not hard. You know, I will say some days it's rough to get up at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. But once I'm up and I'm in the station, I am ready to go. And by the time the lights come on, I'm in the studio, and the tally light comes on when I'm on set at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's go time, and it's a nonstop thing. And the great thing about living in this day and age, you don't have to wait until weeks later or days later to get an interaction from viewers, because, you know, back when I interned, you know, most viewers, they would send in emails or they would send a letter to their favorite television personality. But today we have Twitter, we have Facebook and Instagram, so I can post and get immediate response. And we can even go live during the show, and we get responses from people during the show. Like, we can just talk about, like, today is National whatever day. Today is National Smile Day, by the way. Yeah. We talk about different things that are impacting people. What do they want to talk about? One of my coworkers loved The Bachelorette on ABC. I'm not a big fan of The Bachelorette, but we talked about that one day, and someone said, "Are you really going to watch the show?" But I am so interested in hearing what other people like. But I do have my favorite shows, and people who watch our show, they know that I was a big fan of Scandal. Devastated when Shonda Rhimes decided to end the show this season. But that was fun, always interacting with people every week about Scandal.
Are there certain topics that appeal to you to cover more than others, like business topics versus, you know, human interest topics versus, like, where do you feel like your specialty that?
I don't get to tell as many stories as I used to, considering I anchor the morning and the noon show. But when I'm able to go out in the field, the stories that I like the most, we tell all types of stories about horrible things happening in communities across the country, but the best time that I have is whenever I'm telling stories that are really going to impact the community and make a difference. I used to do stories with kids for Wednesday's Child. It's a mentorship through Big Brothers Big Sisters of Greater Chattanooga, so I got a chance to feature kids every 2 weeks and talk about what they like, what they don't like, what type of food they like, why they want to mentor, and seeing the ending product and seeing those kids getting matched with a mentor through that organization. It's a program that continues to go on. We still have the segment. Our meteorologist on the morning show does it now, but I like telling stories about people beating the odds, overcoming some obstacle. And, those stories to me, they really make a difference. And when I look at our station and the stories that we tell, I can go down and talk about so many different positive things that we tell. But, of course, we give away $500 every week through Pay It Forward. And it's a segment where people get a chance to nominate someone who's doing something amazing in the community. And we have a partnership with a great organization. And my co-anchor does this every week. And so I think when you see these stories and, we're always in the community, doing stories like that and talking about soldiers with our Price of Freedom segment or Wednesday's Child featuring kids who need a mentor. Mm-hmm. Those are the stories that leave me feeling really good, knowing that we have done something amazing in our community.
Right. And the city and I guess the metro area of Chattanooga has grown so much. I hadn't, up until a month ago or so when I came to the station, I hadn't been there in quite a while, and I was very impressed. I mean, everything from the traffic, the roads, the variety of restaurants, it had just grown so much in the few years that I hadn't been. And it's close to Atlanta, so it's not that far, but just
I tell people all the time, it's the best kept secret here in this area, because there's so many great restaurants here. There's so much to do with kids and families, from the Ruby Falls to Rock City to going to the museum, the Hunter Museum, or even just going to on the river. There's so many different things. River Bend starting in about a week. River Bend is like a week and a half festival, and it's along the river at Ross's Landing. They have all types of bands. I think they have 5 or 6 stages, and all of these different bands perform. Flo Rida is coming this year. Wow. I want to say Hank Williams will be there. Don't quote me on that. I think he is. But it's just so cool to see so many different people come to this city, and you have all of these people, thousands of people downtown flooding this area every single night of this amazing festival. And it's been going on for almost 40 years. And we have other festivals in this city. It's amazing. I can't forget about the aquarium. The aquarium is what changed it all back in the early 1990s. And it's just a beautiful downtown, a beautiful city, and some amazing people here.
And the river is beautiful. Just the whole scenery and the proximity to the other neighboring cities is pretty strong too. I mean,
yes, and it's like an hour an hour and a half from Knoxville, 2 hours from Nashville, 2 hours to Birmingham, and Atlanta. You can get to the top part of Atlanta in about an hour and a half, hour 45, depending on driving.
Yep, that's where I am. So but it's a nice drive. It's a smooth drive at I-75. But I was very impressed. So you're in a great place.
It's a great place, and I tell people all the time. I have people come through all the time, and I've had friends forget that I'm on TV in Chattanooga, and they'll be in their hotel room, and they'll turn on the television to ABC, and they'll be flipping through the stations and say, "Oh my God, I know this guy." And that's happened several times. Actually, one of my cousins, she actually moved here, and she was here for, I think, 2 weeks. And she said one morning she was lying in bed, and she flipped over and turned the news on, and she's like, "Oh my God, that's Little Greg." And so they call me Little Greg back home. My dad is a senior, I'm a junior. But it's just crazy how so many people always coming through here. Yeah. And it's a fun place. It's a family city. And it's been the best decision for me to be here for the past 5 years. And I've really enjoyed it. And you know what? I just tell people, it's been great to be close to my family, because I can drive home whenever I need to, or if I want to go visit for Christmas or whatever, holidays. It's only a 2.5 hour drive, and I can get there and get back.
Yeah, that's amazing. Anything with so when you started at the station, was the final hour of the morning show a part of Good Morning Chattanooga, or is that that's something that's a new addition, right?
That is a new addition. So what happened was when I first came here, we were on the air from 4:30 until 7 on ABC. And then we were on, that was it. And then we did cut-ins for Good Morning America, 4 cut-ins from 7 to 9. And then I did the noon show. So in 2016, the station saw that there was an opportunity for us to be able to do news in the morning on Fox. And we're going to make it fun, and we're going to add interviews. And I was thinking, oh my God, this is what I really want to do. This is what I've always wanted to do. So the first 2.5 hours, we were doing news, traffic, and weather, getting people out of the door, getting them what they need to get them ready for school or work or whatever. And then
Right.
from 7 to 9, we relax it a little bit. We still get the same information, but we have a little bit more fun. We have interviews and things like that, topical things. We've talked about your blog. You've come on the show and talked
Yes.
about some things.
Thank
So
you.
it's a great community show for us to be able to showcase what's happening, not just in Chattanooga and the area close to here, but we've also had people come in from different places, because our TV market goes as far down to, I want to say, Ackworth, Georgia, close to Ackworth.
Yes.
And then we go out to go towards Knoxville, to McMinn County and Polk County, and we're going over to closer to Nashville and Grundy County and all those different places. So it's just cool to have so many different people in, and I've learned so many things about so many different festivals and events, from the National Cornbread Festival in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, to other things that are happening around.
Final question, because I know we're over
Mm-hmm.
time, and I have to ask this as part of the CEO mindset that we're all embodying. So, and you can take this question wherever you want to. As far as you, Greg, being the CEO of your life, what's the best example of that? How do you do that? How do you lead yourself so that you can lead others?
I feel that it is a great responsibility to be compassionate to other people. And when I say compassion, it's, a lot of times people don't realize, people may say, well, I want to do this and I got to get this done. And, yes, we have things that we need to get done, but I feel like, that showing compassion is going to take you a long way in life. It doesn't matter what career you're in. Because I feel like when people see that you're compassionate and you have that passion about what you're doing, then first they'll want to listen to you, and then you can lead other people and you can go forward in what you're trying to do. So that's what I would have to say.
So building that common ground, connecting with people, building that foundation of trust, and then you can inspire in other ways.
Yes, making that connection is so important. And when you make that connection with people, and the great thing about 2018, you can make that connection with people, not just in your circle, in your real life. You make that connection on social media and online, and you can build a brand for yourself in so many different ways. And I tell people all the time, especially kids that are coming out of college now, you don't have to just limit yourself to one thing. Always have different things going on that you can do, because you want to be able to use yourself in a lot of different ways. But more importantly, find those 2 or 3 things that you're passionate about, and go towards it. And when you stumble and fall, pick yourselves back up, dust yourself back off, and keep walking forward. Because the great thing about life is you're going to have moments where everything is going to be great, and then you're going to fall, and you're going to go through a path, and you're going to be like, Lord, what are you doing in my life? But every single thing is helping to mold you into the person that you're meant to be, and going to the place where you're meant to be.
Thank you, Greg. That's very inspiring words. Thank you.
No problem.
Where can people find you? Where can they find you online?
You can find me on my Facebook page, Greg Funderburg. I have a fan page. And you can look me up on my website, gregfunderburg.com. You can link to all of my social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that kind of good stuff on my website, gregfunderburg.com. And I think that's about it. So I'm very active on social media. And if you're on my social media pages, I tell people all the time, at least say hello. I saw some lady out in the store the other day, and she says, I'm your Facebook friend. And I said, I vaguely remember you, but whenever you're online, at least go into my inbox and say, hey, Greg, how's it going? Remember we met at such and such. And you'll be surprised that I'll see certain people online all the time, and we'll see each other in public, and I'll just remember them because I just remember their face because they're always speaking or tweeting or writing me a message on Instagram. And so I'm an open person. I love to meet people. I love to talk to people. it's just, I get it from my dad. My dad is a personable person. And so that's been part of my life. So I just enjoy people.
And then people can catch you every morning in Chattanooga
Yes.
or online.
Exactly. Monday through Friday from 4:30 until 7 on ABC, 7 to 9 on Fox, and then I'm back on from 12 to 12:30 on noon. And then you can watch us online. It's newschannel9.com/watch. And of course, we go Facebook Live on my page sometimes, and we talk to people and behind the scenes, what's going on. We talk about whatever day it is. If it's national, I think today is National Macaroon Day. So we talked about macaroons on the morning show today.
Right.
And Rosemary Palmer came on, and she showed
wow.
us some different ones, and we also learned how to make them. And on top of that, she also gave us a great recipe.
Awesome. So always something to learn, right? It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Macaroons, whatever. Inspiration, got it all.
Yeah. But I'll just tell people in closing, don't give up on your dream. And as I said, I've spoken to so many different places and schools and churches and other places. Don't give up on your dream. But just more importantly, it doesn't matter how old you are. If you dreamed about doing something when you were 12, 13, 14, 15, and you may be 40, 50 years old, and you may say, Greg, it's too late for me to go back to school. It is never too late. And you can make a way and make it happen. Because I always say it takes a village. We've all heard that quote before. It takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village to raise other people too, grown people. And if you let your family members or whoever, friends that you want to pursue a dream or a goal and make it happen. We just ran a story last week about this girl here locally. She had a dream to go to law school. She has, I think, 2 or 3 kids. And I think she's a single mom, and she's had so many different obstacles in her way, and she made it happen. And she graduated law school last week with kids, single parent, but it took a village of family members and other people who supported her to help her to get to where she is. And so it is so important, and it's so crucial that you don't ever forget that it's never too late. And you can do whatever you want to do, just as long as you put your mind to it. And as my mom would say, it's going to take a lot of hard work, just a little discipline, a dedication, and determination, and you can make it happen.
That's amazing. Thanks, Greg. This was amazing. I'm so glad we did this. I know we were going to do it in person. Even better here because we got to space it out a little bit. So thank you again. I appreciate it.
We'll have to do it again. No problem.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll sign off now, but thank you, Greg. Have a great one.
No problem. You too. Have a good day. Bye-bye.